see a lot of you again, and it's really been an honor to be able to present to you. Nevertheless, there's a few new faces, so let me give a quick background on Schmitz Cargobull and who we are. We're a family business, we're family run. We have about 2.6 billion in turnover and 6,000 employees across Europe, maybe soon across the globe, I should say. With that, we produce 57,000 units, which puts us firmly as the market leader in the semi-trailer business with a 26% market share across Europe. And what we're particularly proud of is, as one of the pioneers in telematics, we now have more than 100,000 active systems. When I say active, I mean paid customers. And we're approaching the 30,000 unit mark on our transportation refrigeration units. What I'd like to talk to you about today is the challenges that we face, but especially that our customers face. And if we look at them, we think about the four boxes that we see. There's an extreme amount of volatility in the market, both in terms of volumes, but also in terms of cost increases. That is partially driven, of course, by regulation and legislation that's changing quickly. And as kind of a countermeasure, we see the digital transformation that helps us and our customers to improve on the cost situation. And then, of course, there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of, well, where does it go to in terms of the technical shifts that we see from the truck in the front. I think Karen has already talked to you about that, where things are going. Cost increases. And this is the producer price index, which of course is relevant to the B2B segment. And if you look at that, this timeline starts in 1978. So we've had moderate increases. There's been, the oil prices in the 70s. We've seen the big peak that you see in the 2008, 2009 is, of course, the Lehman Brothers crisis. But all those were small little dots when you compare to what happened now. So we have seen an increase from December 20 to peak around January 2022 of 55%. That's monumental. Our costs have come down, but you see they're beginning to stabilize there. And we see this 40% increase level as something that will stick and stay. And that, of course, is one of the questions, well, where do we see prices going? We do not see further reductions. As a matter of fact, we're now beginning to see secondary effects. Labor costs are increasing. It is very natural that it's happening. So we will see, if anything, a kind of recovery of the downturn that we had, very similar to 2009, 2010, where they went up, they dipped too low, and they came back. I think we will see something similar right here. So what can we do? We clearly need to pass these costs on. Our customers clearly need to pass these costs on to their customers. And yes, we will see them in the CPI. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to have countermeasures so that the total cost of ownership of a trailer is actually reduced. And there's a few things that we're doing. In particular, we're managing to reduce very well the K value, the insulation value of the trailer. And if you think about it, the refrigeration unit is really working against the temperature from the outside, trying to come in on the inside. And that is something we're reducing our costs for the customer by approximately 50 euros per month, which is quite significant. We then take it a step further. We are working continuously on our refrigeration unit so that also there are further cost benefits for our customers. On the other hand, we're also trying to increase the longevity of the trailers. Galvanization. Our trailers tend to be on the road significantly longer than the ones of the competition. And I might add that you're also not going to have microplastic particles that are going into the environment like we have for paint. And the one message I really want to bring across to you here is we're standing for CO2 reductions that have paid for themselves. It has to be economically viable. And that's what we're trying in our efforts. Volatility. Where's the market going? This chart is kind of a cumulative effect of our pneumatic systems. And the softer the color is, the further in the background it is. And then you see the darker colors is what's kind of happening now. And I think there's two interesting effects in that. First of all, we can see that our European customers, which are not German, are managing to drive the trailer a lot longer distances. Trailers and trucks are working longer with our customers. The other one that you clearly see, in the last years, the darker lines have kind of dropped. And that means the fleet is not being utilized as efficiently, or maybe it's just not enough work. And that will have to grow out, and we're beginning to see, if you look at the darkest line now in Europe, in Germany, it's beginning to crawl. So yes, there's a slight increase. I think that goes very nicely, I'm not sure if you can see that on the right, with the IFO index, which is also tending up. So are we at a turning point? Well, frankly, I don't know, but it seems as though we're not dropping further in the economy, so that we're having some slight increases. And yes, regulation is the other one. That is driving a lot of this volatility, that is driving a lot of these cost increases. And if you look at the amount of regulation that a relatively small family business like ours, there's others that are even smaller, are supposed to take care of, then I do wonder what is the role of the state and what is the role of industry. It seems to me that government would like to pass the unpleasant tasks onto the government, onto the industry and the small companies, and they try to get into regulation and making decisions that really the companies and the market should take. That will invariably lead to inefficient outcomes, higher costs for all of us. And I predict that in Europe, we're going to spend a lot more money per ton of CO2 reduction than many other markets. So on the trailers, we now have the Vector in 2024, where we're supposed to bring down the average CO2 emission of a trailer. News to me that the trailer is emitting CO2, but okay, we're supposed to help the truck. And I do think we can play a role with it. So don't get me wrong on that. I'm just not sure that the incentives set the right way are getting the fleet out. The trailers are used in so many different uses, sometimes with, sometimes without a truck, that it really doesn't make sense. The average cost of the trailer is going to increase because of it. We're going to see trailers, and there's trailers that are doing very few kilometers per week, just because they go short distances, or because they're transported on the rail. Those trailers, we're going to give a package that's really ideal for the road. Maybe, as we just heard, a Michelin tire that runs longer than long distance. It doesn't make sense. It's not running all the time. The government needs to realize that our customers know better what usage they have and how they're going to use it. Unfortunately, we're going the other way. We've just finished the regulation of hecto, and already there's a slew of other regulations that they're thinking of. They are truly going the wrong way. They're going away from socially and market economy, from an economic, ecological market economy to a planned economy, which will clearly be higher cost and less efficient. So what are we doing? Well, we're actively lobbying with the VDA together. We're trying to reduce the burdens. And of course, at the end of the day, we will have to comply. But I can only use a stage like this to really bring that point across and hope the press will see it. We also needed more attractive conditions in Europe. And I do think we all need to make sure that we keep industry in Europe and we keep it in Germany as well. And that is not happening right now. That will definitely not happen by making things more expensive. So we're proposing solutions like the EcoDual that will significantly reduce CO2, but also reduce the costs. Because if we don't do both, it will not be sustainable in the long run. Digitalization. It's a huge aspect for larger companies that are already using it very effectively. And the chart that I was able to show you right now, there's something that we can do, where we can look at the market, we can analyze how the trailer is being used, and we can try to offer solutions for these different usages. In the same way, our customers need to use the data more, and they're doing that. What we're trying to do is we're also trying to make it available for small and medium-sized companies so that they can use the data in an efficient way to become more efficient. I'm not going to go into the drivetrains too much and what's happening there. I believe you've seen that already. So now going very specifically, what does Schmitz Cargobull do? We are answering with flexible production networks to deal with the volatility, to make sure that we have lower landed costs and that we're close to our customers. We're trying to lobby for sensible regulation. And of course, we're coming with innovation that boosts the competitiveness of our customers. And then, finally, sustainable transport solutions for sustainable business success. That's not a contradiction, that needs to go together. Customers, we all are in competition. There is not huge margins that can absorb additional costs, so they will be passed on to our customers, to the final customer, that's the consumer. Therefore, we're trying to help out. So our production network, what does it look like right now? Germany is still the home base. I'm saying still the home base for most of our products. But we're producing very successfully in Spain, Turkey, Lithuania, and we're also beginning to expand more and more internationally. Australia, South Africa coming with that. And yes, I should mention it. We have taken participation together with our South African partner in Vancouver, Belgium, to complement the offering that we have, where we have tanks and trailers in the portfolio. Digital transformation, and there I would really like to point out, it's not just as simple as putting a telematics system onto the trailer and that's it. We're beginning to see security become more important as we go along with it. We cannot afford somebody to hack the brake of the trailer. We cannot allow that anyone puts any kind of telematics system on there and then tries to get into the brake system. That is just too dangerous. We are committed to making that data available to our customers, and that's what we're doing. And that, then again, allows our customers to have a more efficient fleet management system. The last step that we're working on is to get more and more remote diagnostics and predictive analytics into the usage of the trailer. So what does that mean? We're beginning to work on using the cooling in such a way that we can predict where he's going, what he's going to do next, and thereby trying to optimize the cost. And yes, we're not talking about huge amounts of money there. It's really tinkering and improving, and making sure that he gets done. We are across different segments, and I think different segments need different solutions. And even within those segments, we find lots of different usages, different subsystems. We believe that the general cargo should be a robust trailer, should last a long time. And with that, we also reduce significantly the amount of CO2 that we put in the environment. Our trailers tend to last longer. The dry freight business, parcel business is becoming more important. So we have lighter trailers that we built there. I talked a little about refrigeration. Food distribution is becoming more and more important in terms of electrification, as we see that certain cities do not want to see any more diesel engines at all in the cities. We're working in construction, agricultural, and all that. We offer our digital solutions and services. Financing for the customers right now is becoming more important again. That is also something where we try to support the small and medium-sized customers. We believe that economic profitability is not a contradiction to ESG. Those two have to go hand in hand. However, we need to have less regulation so that we can come up with efficient solutions. Ourselves, we strive for 3 billion turnover in 2025.